Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling a really massive, timeless question. What makes a true hero? Is it just the invincible, larger-than-life characters we see in blockbuster movies? Or is a hero someone much closer to home? Someone like you and me? We use the word hero all the time, but today, we're going to break down the myth versus the reality. Let's find out. Here is our roadmap for today. First up, we'll ask, is James Bond a hero? Second, we'll explore facing your own fear. Third, we'll look at heroes in the real world. Fourth, famous versus real hero. And finally, entering your own cave. All right, kicking things off with part one, is James Bond a hero? So I want you to ask yourself, is James Bond actually a real hero? And for this, let's specifically think about the young James Bond that we meet in the famous prequel story, Silverfin. You know, in the Silverfin story, James isn't that hardened, invincible spy with all the fancy gadgets quite yet. He's literally only 13 years old. But man, he is incredibly brave and clever. I mean, imagine being a teenager and sneaking into the absolutely terrifying Castle Hellebore completely by yourself. He's surrounded by enemies, wildly outmatched, but he still pushes forward to stop Lord Hellebore's evil plan. And yeah, James shows incredible bravery fighting those bad guys. It's an amazing display of courage. But you kind of have to wonder, does just fighting bad guys and finishing a mission automatically make you a true hero in the real world? Well, consider this idea for a second. A hero is not the person who wins. A hero is the person who helps. Sure, being strong, having cool gadgets, and winning fistfights makes for a super entertaining movie. We all absolutely love watching the good guy beat the bad guy. But in real life, heroism isn't really about defeating villains or standing victorious over an enemy. It's actually about the quiet, profound act of lifting other people up. It's really just about helping. Which brings us to part two, facing your own fear. There's this quote by the famous thinker Joseph Campbell that perfectly captures what we need to understand here. He said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." You see, a true hero isn't just someone who effortlessly slays a dragon without even breaking a sweat. A real hero is someone who is absolutely terrified but steps forward anyway. That cave represents whatever scares you the most. It could be speaking up for a friend who's being bullied, admitting you made a painful mistake, or even just trying something completely new where you know you might fail. You literally have to face the dark, whatever that dark is for you, to actually find the treasure. Just think about Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. Katniss doesn't have magic superpowers, she's not immortal, and she doesn't have some high-tech suit of armor. But she possesses this extraordinary courage. When her younger sister is chosen for a deadly, terrifying game, Katniss doesn't even hesitate. She volunteers to take her place. She knowingly walks right into a total nightmare, her own dark, terrifying cave. And she doesn't do it for glory or fame or a prize. She does it out of pure, selfless love to save her family. That right there is the very essence of real bravery, sacrificing your own safety for someone else. Moving right along to part three, heroes in the real world. Let's step away from the movies and books for a bit. Take Malala Yousafzai, for example. In her home country, simply being a girl who wanted to learn made her a massive target. Going to school was this incredibly dangerous act of defiance. She was brutally attacked and shot just for believing that girls belong in a classroom. But she survived. And instead of hiding away in fear, which, let's be honest, anyone would totally understand, she spoke even louder. She took that profound trauma and turned it into this massive global fight for girls' education. She eventually became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate ever, at just 17 years old. No superpowers needed there, just undeniable, unshakable resolve. Then, of course, there's Muhammad Ali. Inside the boxing ring, he was known as the greatest in the world, an absolute champion. But his most heroic battle actually happened entirely outside of the ring. He risked everything, his wealth, his freedom, his undisputed heavyweight title, all by saying no to an unfair war. He stood firm and fought for the civil rights of Black people in America during a time when doing so was wildly unpopular and incredibly dangerous. That kind of bravery cost him the absolute prime years of his athletic career, but it earned him a lasting legacy as a true, principled hero. We also see this profound kind of heroism in the unknown faces of doctors and nurses working in active war zones, places like Syria, Ukraine, or Gaza. Can you imagine waking up every single day and going to work in a crumbling hospital? They're operating with rapidly dwindling medicine, failing electricity, and this constant, deafening threat of danger right outside their doors. Yet, they stay.
They flat out refuse to abandon their patients. They risk their own lives to pull others from the brink of death, performing these acts of unimaginable bravery every single day, completely out of the spotlight and far away from any cameras.
And consider Greta Thunberg. When she was just 15 years old, she started skipping school to sit completely alone outside the Swedish parliament with a handmade sign. It takes immense bravery to be the only person sitting on the pavement dealing with all those confused or judgmental stares from adults just to demand change for the climate. She entered her own metaphorical cave and faced down global indifference. And by doing that, she proved that you really don't need to be an adult in a powerful position to sound the alarm when our house is on fire. Young people can spark massive global movements just by refusing to look away.
So that brings us to part 4, famous or real hero.
I really want you to think about the people you look at every single day on your phones, the figures dominating Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We live in this world that's heavily driven by metrics and digital attention. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo has over 636 million followers. Mr. Beast entertains 340 million subscribers. Billie Eilish speaks to 110 million fans. Those numbers are absolutely staggering. Entire industries are built around that kind of reach. And look, these individuals are undeniably talented, extremely hardworking, and famous all over the world. They provide a ton of joy and entertainment to millions. But we kind of have to step back and ask ourselves a vital question. Does capturing our attention and entertaining us automatically make someone a hero?
Because there is a really fundamental difference between fame and heroism. A highly famous person, like an influencer, an athlete, or a pop star, is admired for their exceptional skills, their looks, or their ability to entertain us. Ultimately, it's their job, and they're compensated for it. But a real hero? That's defined by sacrifice, not by status. A real hero steps up to help others and does the right thing, especially when it is painfully difficult or dangerous. And honestly, most importantly, a real hero takes action even when there are no cameras flashing, no applause echoing in a stadium, and 0 followers watching online.
And finally, we've reached part 5, entering your own cave. Let's bring the focus directly back to you for the end of this explainer. So who is your hero? As we've seen today, a hero isn't just a world-famous activist winning a Nobel Prize or a legendary athlete giving up their title. A hero can be someone quietly making a massive difference right in your own home, like a mom or a dad working tirelessly just to provide and protect. It could be a patient teacher who stays late to help you figure out a really tough subject, or just a kind neighbor who steps in when things get rough. Literally anyone possesses the capacity for absolute heroism if they just choose to be kind, smart, and brave when it truly matters. The world desperately needs heroes, you guys, and the truth is, maybe you are one of them.
So I want you to think about your own life, your own fears, and your own capacity for bravery. Which cave did you have to enter? And what treasure did you find in the dark? Take that thought into your classroom discussions today. Thank you so much for exploring this topic with me.